Hello, Dr. Dike Drummond here at the home of thehappymd.com in beautiful Seattle, Washington. Welcome to the latest episode of the Physicians on Purpose podcast. Tools so you can recognize and prevent your own burnout. Stories of burnout put to its highest and best use, and wellness leadership strategies. Everything you need to be a physician on purpose. Hello, Dr. Dike Drummond here at the home of The Happy MD in beautiful Seattle, Washington, with the latest edition of the Physicians on Purpose podcast. And in this episode, which I'm recording in late January of 2022, I want to talk about an important development that I'm convinced is going to happen during this calendar year that all physicians need to be ready for. I call it the Great Practice Reset of 2022. Great Practice Reset. Well, right now, Omicron has peaked in many areas across the country, still in the upswing in other areas, but everywhere it's been in the world, it's whipped through the population and burned through all the folks who were not immune for whatever reason. They didn't get vaccinated, they were never infected. It's going to overwhelm certain areas of the country, ER, ICU. It's going to do that again, unfortunately, and I hope that our healthcare system actually survives this final wave of COVID. But what I think it's also going to do is give us the herd immunity that will end the pandemic, or at least end the crisis phase of the pandemic. And at that point in time, there's going to be a window of opportunity. Because once we aren't in absolute crisis and triage mode across the system because of an acute coronavirus infection, it's receded into the background. There's going to be this breathing space before what ends up happening is your practice assumes some sort of new configuration in the wake of the pandemic. A lot of times people use the term new normal. What's going to be the new normal for your practice post-COVID? And in this window, I think there's going to be an opportunity for you to have some influence, to play a role in designing this new practice description, this new job description, but only if you're ready to do so. Only if you're ready to do so, because this window, I think, is going to take place in 2022. I think it's probably going to last about 6 months. And what's going to happen is the leaders of your organization are going to look at the healthcare landscape, and they're going to ask you to assume a different way of working in your practice to meet what? What are their objectives? To meet their business goals. Now, right now, they're used to seeing you do whatever is asked of you because we've been in a crisis. The patient comes first, right? You're going to do whatever it takes to take care of the people in crisis mode. But once COVID is gone, once the pandemic is gone, once the crisis is over, it's time for us as providers of care, as doctors, nurses, everybody else in the system, to reestablish some healthy boundaries, to be able to say under what conditions will work and what kind of staffing support we need and what help we need with documentation. When you have your ideal job description nailed down, what would be ideal for you? When you have the ability to have a relationship with and manage your boss to get what you need for your ideal practice, then if you have those skills, you'll be prepared to have some influence on your post-pandemic new normal, because you'll be able to negotiate for more of what you want. You'll be able to find some creativity, some room inside the box of your contract and your job description so that you can get more of what you want for you and your family. And what I want to do is share with you today a new resource that we've developed. I call it the Great Pandemic Reset of 2022 video training series. And what I've done is created a series of short videos. Each one of them is about 4 minutes long. And they teach you some skills that we've learned in our burnout prevention practice, the skills you need to be able to create a more ideal practice, to get focus and to get traction with your leadership team so you can get more of what you want in the new post-COVID reality for you and your practice. Now, I'm not going to give you 6 lessons in a row on a single podcast, but let me just say that wherever you're listening right now, on that page, there is a link to the video series. And you can go see lesson number 1 and enroll in the series so you get one about every other day, just a 4-minute video that's going to set you up for success in the reset. Now, my prayer is that the Omicron wave leaves as fast as it came. It doesn't destroy our healthcare system in the United States, and that we're working on this reset sometime in March, April, May of 2022. Now, there could be other variants, but I am convinced that this reset window will open up at some point during this calendar year. And when it opens up, you want to be ready, because in the absence of your ability to negotiate for what you want in your post-COVID practice, what will happen is you will be asked to do exactly what your employer wants you to do for their organizational business objectives. And that's going to be a lot less healthy than what you would have yourself working. It's going to be important for you and your family that you have the ability to maintain a position of influence as the definition of your post-pandemic practice becomes clear for you and your employer. So go ahead and click that link down below, or put your name in the box if you're on a page that has a sign-up box, and sign up for our Practice Reset video training series. Let me show you some skills that we have proven in the real world that are going to make a big difference. And I'll see you inside the first video. That's it for today. Until we meet again in the next of our podcasts, you keep breathing and have a great rest of your day.